Assalamu alaikum friends, and welcome back to Luminous Odyssey, where I take you all through a journey of health and wellness and faith through natural and traditional medicine, as well as Islamic principles. So excited to have you all here. As you can see, I'm just kind of been popping around from different outdoor venues. I will have a studio at some point, inshallah, so just bear with me while I am still getting the hang of things and still just getting used to doing this kind of content for you. But I am definitely very excited to be talking to you all today, because today we are getting into a topic that is so foundational to everything else that I'm going to be talking about in my future videos, and that is the body types and bodily temperaments. So, looking forward to getting started, and let's get right into it. Now, let's start off with temperament. So, what is a temperament? Well, if you've ever heard before somebody say, "Ooh, she's got a fiery temperament to her, don't mess with her," or, "Oh, he has such a cool temperament, like he's very go with the flow." You know, you kind of have an idea of what that means. And basically the dictionary definition is the personality traits of someone that determines how they interact with the world. So, and as the name kind of implies, temperament, temperature, hot, cold, fiery, yeah, you get what I'm saying? So I like to think of it as the climate of someone's personality or of their body type. So body types also have a temperament to them, right? Just like each of the seasons have a different temperament to them, because each of the different seasons have different climates, right? Different parts of the world have different temperaments. They have different climates, right? So it kind of helps us start to get the idea of what we mean by temperament. And so each different body type has a different temperament to them as well. So I'm not going to go too in depth with each of the individual body types and give you all like the goody good details about everything, right? I'm going to do another follow-up series to this where I'm going to go through each of the individual body types and talk more in depth on each of them on an individual basis. But today I'm just going to kind of give you a nice little overview, so that way you have an idea of what those body types are and how to identify that for yourself as well. All right, so first up we have our melancholic body type. Melancholic, this is going to be our dry and cold body type. And if you are familiar with Ayurveda at all, this is going to be related to Vata in the Ayurvedic body types. So this person, they tend to have like a longer, more rectangular face. They have prominent cheekbones. This is gonna be our little skinny mini, okay? This is gonna be our little thin slice, okay? So this person is gonna tend to have a smaller frame, a smaller build. Their appetite, relationship with food is a little here and there. Maybe sometimes they want to eat, sometimes they don't. They could probably go without eating, even though they're not really supposed to all the time. But this person has a kind of touchy relationship with food, and maybe experience some constipation as well. And this person, their season is going to be associated with the season of fall. Again, I'm gonna go more in depth into what kind of foods this person should be eating on the individual video, so please stay tuned for that. All right, next up we have our caloric body type, and this is gonna be our little hot tamale, okay? This person is gonna be hot and dry, just like our hot and dry summer months, right? So this person is gonna be associated with summer, and their Ayurvedic association is going to be Pitta, okay? This person, now this is gonna be our person with our nice chiseled jawline, our strong cheekbones, very sharp features, right? This person is gonna have a nice lean build, you know, not like super thin, but like, you know, they're nice and toned, okay? And this person, this is gonna be our person they can just eat all day. This is the person you're gonna look at and you're gonna be like, how did you eat where does all of it go? They just ate like a whole like table's worth of food and they are still small. And you're like, where did that food go? And that's because they have a super fast, hot running metabolism. Like this person is like always ready to eat, okay? And there's ways that we can cool this down, okay? And so we'll talk about that in the follow-up series, all right? So that is our caloric body type. All right, next up we have sanguine. No, I did not say penguin, I said sanguine with an S. All right, our sanguine body type. So there's actually not an association with them in Ayurveda, and this is kind of where I feel like Ayurveda is missing out a little bit. This is going to be our hot and moist, or hot and wet body type, if you're the kind of person you don't like the word moist. Hot and wet, okay? And this is actually going to be our ideal body type. Now when I say ideal, don't get all hurt, don't get upset with me just yet, okay? Bear with me. When I say ideal body type, I don't mean, oh my gosh, this is the body type you want to be. If you're not this body type, you're not no. Love your body type, okay? If you haven't already seen my short where I talk about it, go take a look at that. Love the body type that you're in, okay? When I mean ideal, okay, where does life thrive best in, right? If you're trying to start a garden, let's break it down. If you're trying to start a garden, are you going to want to start that garden in a cold environment? No, probably not. Are you going to start a garden in a super hot, dry, like a desert environment? No. The best environment for life to thrive is warm and moist, okay? And so that is why we consider it the ideal. That's where our bodies naturally want to be, but some of our bodies are just not naturally there, and that's why the certain food and herbal medicine helps us get there, okay? So that's what I mean with that. Okay, this is going to be our person with our oval face, nice medium build. You know, this is our Goldilocks person, right? They're not too big, not too little. They're just right. They're just right in the middle, okay? They don't lean any far to one way. Their appetite is the same way. It's not too much, not too little. They're just right, okay? And so is their metabolism, is just right, so long as their diet is balanced, okay? So that's the kicker there, is that their diet also has to be balanced to their body. Like, they can eat just about anything on the food list, but if they eat too much of one thing, then they're going to be too much on that, and then it's going to throw them out of balance. So that's kind of the thing with sanguine, is that even though they are naturally balanced, they have to maintain that balance, all right? You know what, and I almost forgot to mention this, but with our sanguine body types, that is going to be the season of spring, okay? And then when we talk about that ideal body, that, you know, ideal temperature for life to thrive, and you think about springtime is where everything starts to bloom again. Every life comes back after the cold winter months. This is where life emerges again, okay? So they are going to be that springtime season, okay? Okay, now last but certainly not least, we have our phlegmatic body types, okay? And this is going to be our cold and moist, or cold and wet person, all right? This is going to be associated with kapha in the Ayurvedic medicine, and this is going to be our person. They got the nice round face, they got the full cheeks. This is going to be our full figured person, right? And they're going to be a little bit bigger. This is going to be our little thickums, okay? These are going to be my little thick mommies, all right? So that's going to be our phlegmatic body type. Now this person, they may get certain kinds of cravings due to their body type, the way that their body type is made up. And as far as their appetite goes, this is the person, they actually eat in really small portions. Like, this person gets full really quickly, and that's because they have a very slow digestion. Their digestive system works very slowly, and so when they do eat, they tend to eat in smaller portions more frequently throughout the day. So they have like smaller portions, but they'll eat like multiple times a day, and it's, you know, in order to kind of balance that out for them. And so and they are associated with the season of winter. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and get ready to bring this thing in for a landing. As I said before, we will go more in depth with each of the individual body types, what foods and herbs help to balance out those body types, and go really in depth with each of the body types in later videos. Really quick though, just so that you have an idea of how you can tell what your body type is, aside from just the physical features that we talked about. A good way to test out your body type is what we call the wrist test. So you take your thumb and your index finger and you bring it around your wrist like so. And depending on how much overlap you have, that can help determine which body type you have. So as you can see, for me, I have quite a bit of an overlap there. If you have a larger overlap, that's going to put you in the melancholic body type. If you have just a little itty bitty bit of like an overlap, like that much, that's going to be more of the caloric body type. If it just perfectly touches like so, then that is going to be your sanguine body type. And then if it does not touch, that is going to be your phlegmatic body type. So you can use that, and that's just kind of like a really rough assessment of it. Inshallah, I will have a body type quiz up at some point, so that way you can get a more accurate assessment of that. All right, so something else that I wanted to note is that your body type is not the only thing that has a temperament. The diseases that you can get in your body also have a temperament. And this is important because this is going to determine the type of food and medicine you use to treat what type of dis-ease or imbalance that you're going to be addressing. So let me give an example. If you have a really hot, dry cough, really think about that hot, dry cough, like you're coughing, it feels inflamed, it's like scratching your throat, that would be considered a hot and dry cough, right? So this isn't homeopathy. We're not going to treat the same thing, which that's what homeopathy is. If you're wondering, if you're kind of confused on that, it's treating one thing with the same thing. You're giving more of the same. This is not that. This is more like law of opposites type beat going on. So you're gonna treat that thing with the opposite thing. So you're gonna treat it with something that's cooling and that's moist. So something that's soothing to the throat. It's gonna cool off the inflammation. It's gonna reduce the inflammation. That's going to help lubricate those airways and things like that. So that way it's not hot and dry anymore. Okay? Alrighty, and one final thing that I want to note is that there's also a temperament for the different parts of a woman's menstrual cycle as well. And we're going to do a complete separate video on just that alone, but I wanted to introduce that concept because I am going to be talking a lot about feminine reproductive health and about our menstrual cycle, and so that way we can work to heal some of these womb imbalances. And so that kind of brings me to letting y'all know that I work primarily with women's reproductive health, helping women who are experiencing endometriosis, PCOS, extreme cramps. Like, I am your go-to girl to see how to get that better. But I wanted to start here. I want to start with some of the basics, and so that way when we do get to those videos, you guys have a good basis, or at least a reference point, so that when we do get to those videos, I can always be like, hey, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go check this video out. And so that way you guys can get a better understanding of how we're going to work. Alright, and so if you made it to the end of the video, I just want to give you a quick thank you. Thank you so much. It definitely bear with me because, like I said, I'm still very new to YouTube. So if you have any comments, questions, concerns, please leave it down in the comment section below. I would love to help you all. If you have any suggestions, recommendations for upcoming videos, also let me know. And yeah, inshallah, the next video should be up in the next week or so. So I will see you then.